Hello students, welcome to Unix programming classes. I am covering first module topics from Unix programming. Okay, so the first topic is the introduction part. I'll be sharing the file also here, this file also in the group as okay. So here we are going to study about the Unix Linux operating system. You know the operating system. What's an operating system? A set of program. It's a set of program, right? Which is used to run. Actually, it's a just a program which is used to run the application programs, right? We can install the application program on it and we can run as per our requirement, right? So here the theory part you can go through. We use computers freely, but most of us never bother to know what is inside the box. Why should we, right? After all, we also use TV or television and never care to find out how this idiot box manages to convert the invisible radio waves into real life colorful pictures, right? Just go through these explanations and all. So here, an operating system is a software, as I told you earlier, that manages the computer's hardware and provides a convenient and safe environment for running the other customized programs. Right? The operating system allocates the memory for the program and loads the program to the allocated memory. Right? Reserved space. OS that some space will be reserved for operating system programs, and in that memory or reserved space, programs will be loaded. It also loads the CPU register with the control information related to the program. The registers maintain the memory locations where each segment of a program is stored. The instructions provided in the program are executed by the CPU. The OS or operating system keeps track of the instruction that was last executed. Program needs to access the hardware, it makes a call to the operating system rather than attempt to the job itself. Okay, after the program has completed its execution, the OS cleans up the memory and registers. So another program can take the or utilize that space. So after execution, the particular memory, primary memory, it will be cleared. It will be cleaned or cleared so that another program can take up the place and it can be executed. Right? Some of the modern operating systems that goes for multi-programming, that is multiple programs can be executed simultaneously. That is what multi-programming in the memory. So most of the operating systems support for that, and Unix is one among them. So Unix operating system, as a part of introduction part, here we are going to study the operating system Unix OS. So like DOS operating system, uh, or DOS and Windows, there is another operating system called as Unix. So it arrives earlier than the other two and stayed back late enough to give us the internet. So it's a gained operating system and is way ahead of them in sheer power. It is saying like it is much powerful than Windows. That is what they are going to trying to explain here. Okay. So we can interact with the Unix system through a command interpreter. We can interact with the Unix system through command interpreter and we call it as shell. Okay, SHELL. Please try to understand. You can interact with the Unix system through a command interpreter called as shell. So you can recall the ADP concept also. Interactive shell concept we have studied as a part of first module, right? So we can have the interaction with the machine using command prompt, that is called as shell. So command, what is the meaning of command then? The keyword which you are going to type. That is called as command. Very basic thing. You have studied about the interactive shell or interactive environment of Python, right? Where commands and all we have used, right? Or keywords we have used. That is what called as command here. That's it. Please go through these explanations and all basic thing. Here only definition part comes. What is operating system? What is command? What is shell and all. Okay. Next is about knowing your machine. So unlike the other operating systems like DOS and Windows, so Unix can be used by several users concurrently or parallelly. In other words, a single copy of the operating system installed on a disk can serve the needs of hundreds of users. So that is what parallel execution or simultaneous execution of programs, right, with the help of a single operating system. So multi-user, that is what they are saying. So if you have access to such a multi-user system, then in any probability you will be sitting with just a terminal or a monitor and a keyboard, but OS will be installed somewhere else. Only the terminal will be given to you, monitor will be given to you, keyboard and mouse will be given. So whatever the interaction you are doing using mouse, keyboard or monitor, actually the CPU or the operating system, the base operating system, that will be made as, that can be made as multi-user operating system, a single OS that can fulfill simultaneously the request from multiple terminals or multiple users. This is one of the powerful feature or important feature of Unix environment. Please try to understand. Okay. So the functions of the keyboard here is given as normally the keyboard what you are using, the same keyboard we can use. See, you must be familiar with the Unix operating system because last time we have done the lab, right, using uh, Fedora operating system only, using Fedora operating system only, because right, programming, that DS programming is done using Java. So that Java programming, for Java programming we have used Fedora. That Fedora is one of the example for this platform, Unix platform. Okay. So normal keyboard only for not PC or laptop, whatever the keyboard is there, no, for your laptop or personal computer, this operating system can be installed easily. So you don't have to have the special keyboard or hardware for installing this Unix based operating systems. It's not like, it is not like that. Okay. So normal ASCII keyboards only used here. So same thing is given here. Same thing is explained. The special key, alphanumeric key, the caret symbol, hyphen, right, asterisk, so on, other operators and all. So same keyboard is applicable. So we can set the login password. How you are setting the password for Windows environment, in the same way we can set up the login window for the user. Okay. Login environment we can create for the user. So we can set up the password. So once you enter the password, it looks like a password only. It will not be display, either asterisk symbol will be displayed or dots will be displayed. Password field, how does it looks, no, in the same way. Okay. Once you press enter, you will be taken to the home screen of the operating system. Otherwise, you will be getting a message, incorrect login, and you will be asked to log in again. The login prompt comes. This is once the login is set up for the environment. And we can also check. Actually, this Unix environment, it is developed by Sun Solaris. Okay, Sun Solaris environment. So it will also display in the log history. It will display the it will store the last login time also. Last login details also will be stored, followed by username. It's just an operating system similar to your Windows environment, but it is not Windows environment. It's called as Unix environment. Okay. How we have used different kinds of commands for the interactive shell of our Python. In the same way, we can use the various commands for the interaction. To check today's date, we can use the date command. See date from the terminal, so from the command prompt we just type date. It's a valid command and display the, it will display the system date and time. Okay, actually it should display if it is connected to internet, the internet date, today's date, current date, time will be automatically set up and it will be displayed. Otherwise, you know, the system time it will be uh, displaying. Okay, apart from this date, there are several hundreds of commands available, so we'll be studying them later on. Okay, so date command, date, that will display the current date and time, or system date and time you can say. So enter key will take you to the next. That is what they are explaining here, the use of enter key. You know the use of enter key, right? Normally there will be some submit button on web portal and all. What will happen? Submit button will be there. Otherwise, if you press enter also, what happens is submit field, once you enter the user id and password, submit will highlight on, it will be automatically highlighted on the submit field. If you just press enter, you will be taken to the login page, right? Here username and password field will be there. You have to press enter, you have to hit the enter key from keyboard. It will take you to the login. Next is, after interacting with the shell or core of the operating system, if you want to clear the screen, what is to be done, right? So tput command we can use, tput. See here, it is given here, tput clear, which is used to clearing the screen. So all Unix system offers the command tput command to clear the screen, right? This is something you would often like to do to avoid getting distracted by the output or the error message in the previous command, you know, right? You know, because last time, for even in your first year for the C programming, we have used the same environment. We have used Fedora for the execution. Just recall, right? We have used the clear command. Clear. This will just erase, or this will just delete whatever the things are there on the command prompt. Everything will be automatically cleared, right? So we can dollar is the prompt. Okay, after dollar you can, this indicates that you are supposed to, you can enter the commands in front of it. So here it is dollar, there it is different. Don't get confused. There in Python it is different, prompt is different. We are using right shift, such type of operator we are using, right? Right arrow mark, that is used for prompt, two or three consecutive arrows, right? Don't get confused. Okay, here it is dollar symbol. Just recall, or just observe your, just go through your observation book of previous semester, for either fourth semester or second semester or first semester, I mean. So C programming, there it must be, right? You must be having that in your notebook. Just go through. So that is the prompt. In front of it you are supposed to type the command. So tput will be used to. So however, when you use tput as it is, so without any additional word, this is what you are going to get. Its usage, okay, its usage, how to use it will be displayed. So actually the command is to be used as tput followed by clear, otherwise just use clear, it will delete the contents on the screen, previous contents I mean. Okay, to display the calendar we can use the command cal. For the interactive shell of Unix environment, just type the command cal, that will display the calendar. See, calendar of the month will be displayed. First date will be displayed. Oh, otherwise you use the cal followed by month and year. So that month and year calendar will be displayed. Here what is done is cal followed by space followed by 7 2006 is printed. The meaning of that is calendar of 7th month of 2006. So 7th month is July of 2006. It is displayed as a C. Right? Here is the command that runs with the two argument. First argument is month, second argument is year. So some of the commands are taking arguments and some are not. Calendar can take two argument, month and year. So any years of any month calendar you want to display, you can with the help of command cal followed by space followed by month and year, month and space year, right? Next is the whenever the multiple users are using the multiple users are using the same operating system. So either with the help of same terminal or different terminal. As I told you earlier, as we have discussed earlier, so multiple users also can have interaction with the same shell or same kernel. It is called as KERNEL kernel. Okay, or same Unix environment under common operating system, then we can track who are the users when they have used the system or operating system. System is operating system here. Okay, using the command who. So no no need to mention any kind of arguments here. Just type who, that will give you the username, system name, because if multiple terminals are there, terminal name or terminal id or terminal number, whatever, and last login time, that detail will be displayed. Here you can see Kumar, Vipul and Raghav are the three users at different terminal. Console PTS4 and PTS5 login date and time is displayed. Okay, so currently there are three users and that is what the login detail is. This is what the use of who command. Next is checking the process ID. PS is the command. Okay, so we observed that the shell program is always running at your terminal, right? The interactive shell program that will be running at your terminal, that will be displayed on the monitor. That shell program will be the execution of that will be, right? Underlying operating system may be lying at anywhere. So every command that you run give that gives rise to a process, and the shell is a process as well. Please try to understand, every command that you run gives rise to a process. Running a command is nothing but running a process, as simple as that, right? Running a command is nothing but running a process, and the shell is a process as well. To view all the process that you are responsible for creating, run the ps command. What is the command to be executed? So ps is the command to be executed. That will give you all the process details. Okay, so process details can be checked or can be go through with the help of a command called as ps. So process id, PID. So this is what the system information it provides. Whatever the processes, whatever the commands running on, they are considered as a process, So each process will be identified with the help of an ID for the operating system. So that is done by the operating system. So that detail will be displayed. PID detail will be displayed. So next is the listing. That is with the help of a listing of file with the help of a ls command. Ls stands for list. Okay, so your Unix system has a large number of files that control its functioning, and the users also create the files on their own. Of course, the Unix system operating system will be having a large set of files. Apart from them, you can create your own file, because whenever you are creating a, just recall your C programming. um, while saving, you have saved a program with the help of C extension .c, so that will be saved in a place, right? So your Unix system has a large number of files that control its functioning, and users also create files on their own, of course, your user files. These files are organized in a separate directory or folder. Sorry, these user files will be organized separately, system file will be organized separately, and each separate storage, that folder is called as a directory. Please try to understand. It is called as, it will be stored in a folder or a file. We call it as a directory. These terminologies you need to remember. So you can list the name of files available in a directory. In any directory, you can list out what are the files. You can check out what are the files available. Just use a command called as ls. Okay. So ls displayed a list of 6 files here. 6 files are available. So assume, so readme, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so on. So these are the files assume you have created and stored. So its name will be displayed. Please try to understand. You are not going to display the file content, only file names are displayed. So please try to understand. File names are you are going to display. So using file name can be displayed from a directory. File name can be displayed with the help of ls command. That's it. Even ls command you can use with an argument. So what we did is ls followed by some characters are mentioned, like first 4 characters are taken, chapter followed by asterisk. That means whichever the files start with word chap to be displayed, its name to be displayed. So all the files that has got a title chapter is to be displayed, whether there are 10 files or 20 files, say chapter 1 to 20 or chapter 1 to 10, right? So all that file names should be displayed. How it can be made? CHAP, or you can write CHAPTRO, your wish, followed by asterisk. So it will be matching. It is used for, you will be studying this in other subjects as well, like ATC and all. So that pattern matching and all you will be studying. So CHAP followed by asterisk. This will match for all the patterns, all the files. Title starts with CHAP, right? That will be displayed. Its name will be displayed. CHAP 01, 02, 03 is displayed. Next is the now another optional argument, minus L for ls command. So sometimes just displaying the list of file name is not enough. So you need to know more about the files. In that case, you can use the command ls of minus L. So sometimes just displaying a list of name, file name is not sufficient, right? You can also see the file permissions or other details when the file is created, last accessed and all. So whenever you want to know such information, you can use additional argument for the ls command, that is minus L, ls of minus L followed by chapter file name. You can even mention the file name. So ls of -l, if you just type on an interactive shell on command prompt dollar in front of it, if you just type ls space -l, then it will display the list of all the files in the particular directory, right, along with file permissions. Okay, so here what is done is ls of -l followed by chap chapter chap asterisk. So all the file with which begins with the name chap is displayed along with its permission. So you just go through rw rw rr. This will be discussing about this once again. Okay, r stands for read, w stands for write, and x stands for execute actually. So that is not there here, read write permission. Okay, so read write execute, read write execute, and read write execute for user. Okay, so this is what the file permission is. R stands for read, W stands for write, and X for execute. Here no need to worry. So we'll be discussing this file permissions and all later on. Okay, in the next modules as well. So here, apart from file permissions, we will be displaying the user ID, then terminal ID, last access time and all. So such info followed by file name. So such information as an additional information we can display with the help of -l hyphen, that parameter, along with the command ls. Okay, so wherever the permissions are not provided, hyphen is put. Wherever the permissions are provided, particular label will be displayed like r, w, and so on. So that's it for this session. We'll continue our discussion in the next session. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Please make a note of all these topics. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.